Welcome back to the Soft Tissue Revolution podcast version 2.0, where we teach manual therapists a new treatment system that does focus on working smarter, not harder, which will allow you to cut your treatment times by at least 50% so you can stay healthy and help a hell of a lot more people get out of pain. My name is Dr. Matt Maggio. Thank you so much for stopping by and checking out the show. Let's get right into it. So, quit being a technique and certification junkie. So, what inspired this show? I've been bad lately. I always talk about use social media, don't let it use you. I think I'm going to make a podcast about that coming up here in a couple weeks, but I've been scrolling on Instagram way more than I should. It kind of sucks you in, and then I start looking at people's stories and all the dumb shit that they're doing. And I notice a trend a lot, especially with manual therapists. You know, they'll post something and they're at a weekend seminar. They're learning how to do something new, and they're always adding new tools to my tool belt, trying to be the best that I can, all that stuff. And then they come back after the seminar and they say it's the greatest thing ever. It's going to be life-changing for their practice, for their business, and their patients are going to be so lucky to have access to this amazing new technique or this new certification that they got, or new letters after their name. They're like, yeah, this is going to be the best shit fucking ever. Then you check in with them a month later. They're not doing that anymore. Now they're on to the next thing. And now this new thing is going to be the next thing. Or they're just adding it in. They're just continuing to grind and get better and just be the best version of myself. And they're just doing more and more and more. All of us as manual practitioners, I did this myself. We suffer from what's called shiny object syndrome, where it's oh, I want to do that. And I want to do that. And I want to do that. And wait, what's that? I want to do that too. It's ooh, it's like that old movie where the squirrel runs by and the dog goes, squirrel. Oh, squirrel. That's what happens with us. We're always on to the next thing. We think there's this next magic thing we're going to find, this new revolutionary treatment or this new method that's going to change everything, be a complete game changer. We're all in. Then we do it. Do a weekend course and hey, here we go. Not really getting any results. On to the next stuff. Another issue I end up seeing too is just the problem with just taking a course just once over a weekend. You really can't dive into that much. I've actually taught big courses and big classes before. I did this back in 2021 and into 2022. And what I found was the bigger the course, the more people can hide, and you don't really get that full inversion, or what I don't think I said that word right. Immersion. Sorry there. You don't get that full idea going forward. You can't really understand what's going on. You need to be exposed to the material multiple times. So what we do in our trainings now is everything starts with the online training program. And then once you can pass a test and show that you're not an idiot and you know what you're doing, you are allowed to come and train with me one-on-one. I only do one-on-one things now. I'm not teaching those big group seminars anymore. You're not going to learn everything in one weekend. You have to get multiple exposures from it across the board. And when you have shiny object syndrome, like we all have, I had it as well, you really become a jack of all trades and a master of none. What really scales and what's amazing is simplicity. One problem, one focus, one thing. I talk about this all the time, and you're probably bored of hearing it, but I really want you to focus, like I said, working smarter, not harder, and getting your dosage of your treatment right. It's all about the quantity. Nope. About the quality. Sorry. Didn't have enough coffee yet today. About the quality of the treatment and less about the quantity. I always say this. Manual therapists make this big mistake. They think treatment can only go two ways. Number one is you can treat it and it'll feel better. Number two is you can treat it and nothing changes. They never consider if you beat the living shit out of everybody and you do a million different things, you do a 2-hour long session, that you can actually make that problem worse. Dosage is important. So how do you recover from this being a junkie and being addicted to multiple certifications and trainings? I did it as well. I used to have the wall. I called it my ego wall. Behind me in one of my offices, I had every single course and every certification that I took because I wanted everyone to know that I was really good at what I did. And this was when I was early in my career. I would just take everything. I wasn't good at what I did. I was just dabbling in everything. I was a jack of all trades, master of none, but it made me feel better. It was like my security blanket that I had my wall full of certifications and techniques, and then the client could see how smart I was, and I was going to be able to solve their problem effectively. That shit don't work. I'm getting older. I'm getting wiser, and realize that it's not about more. It's about better quality. So how to get out of this loop and just not go down that path of being that person that just looks like a jackass. Number one is understand that nobody gives a shit about what you do to fix their problem or what treatment you do. They just care that it can solve their problem. That needs to be repeated again. Nobody gives a shit about what you do or how you do it. They just care that you can fix their problem. Number two, continue. And I say this all the time. My clinics are called Peak Injury Solutions. Yeah, solutions is in the name. It is implied to the client what we actually do. We provide solutions for injuries. I want you to focus more on providing solutions and focusing on people that are injured and in pain and less on the recovery side and relaxation side. You can do that if you want, but that's just, anybody can do that shit. You're just a commodity and you ain't special. If you might be able to like do a flush better than the other person, or your cups might just be a little more better, but like no one gives a fuck. You're about the same as everybody else out there. But if you're truly solving problems and you're marketing and targeting people that have injuries and in pain, whew, there's a whole different level that you haven't even cracked into. Number three, do an inventory of the tools you already have and the courses you've taken. And think about it. Like, what really worked the best? Do more of that. And less of the time you're using to just kill, less of the things you're doing just to kill time. You're like, well, I'm going to do this as well because, I got to spend an hour and a half with them. So I'm going to do some shit here, maybe throw some cups on there or some hot stones or something like that. Shit ain't doing anything. It ain't doing anything. You're just wasting time. Time is money. And understand that you don't need more tools in your belt. You need to sharpen the ones that you already have. And lastly, if the tools that you have are shit and you're not getting results, then here you go. Learn my system and become what I like to refer as a BAMF, B-A-M-F, a badass motherfucker. Yeah. Learn to be a problem solver. So hopefully you can recover from this addiction to being a technique junkie or certification junkie. And you can learn from that. And I hope you got something out of this podcast and this episode. That's why I make them, to help you. So you don't make the same mistakes that I do, and you don't get stuck like other people, dabbling in everything and never really being good at fixing anything. I also decided to add a new segment to the podcast that we're going to add each week. And it's going to be called Something Dumb I Saw a Manual Therapist Say This Week on Social Media. I see so much dumb shit out there. It's mostly on Instagram. I try not to be on Instagram that much because I'm like, you motherfuckers are dumb. The shit you're saying is dumb. And this one came from someone I think that's a business coach for massage therapists. And the whole post was, don't get upset when a client asks or demands a discount for your treatments. Yeah, don't get upset when a client asks or demands a discount for your treatments. Maybe you should just give them the discount anyway. What a bunch of weak ass fucking shit. That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, oh, don't take it personally when someone devalues what you do and you should just let them have it because, the economy's tight and blah, 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 blah. Get the fuck out of here. I talk about this all the time. People spend money on the dumbest shit possible. And if you have something that's truly solving their problem, you're fixing their injury, you're keeping them the fuck away from pain pills, injections, and surgeries, and away from those other shitty providers like chiropractors and physical therapists, which don't do anything and don't fix anything and only make the problem worse, you should charge whatever the fuck you want to charge. And you shouldn't feel bad about it in any way, shape, or form. This is the weakest bullshit I see out there with these self-proclaimed practice gurus, and they're going to show you how to like change your whole perspective and be more inviting and all that. Get the fuck out of here with that foo-foo shit. We ain't playing that here. Like, charge accordingly. Don't give fucking discounts because it only makes things worse. This is the dumbest shit that I could see this week on social media. So that's all I got for you guys. Things you can do to help me. You can share the show with other people. Give it to them. It could help grow the show, get this message out there. I want more solution providers. I don't want more people just doing relaxation and stuff like that. I want to actually fix problems and keep people the fuck away from pain pills. If you haven't yet, go in and download the free training modules. Like I said before, and I say it all the time, they're better than any paid course out there. I put a lot of information out there. Sometimes I think I almost put too much information. It's overload, but hey, all that shit's in there and you can be really good. And the thing is, when you actually download them, go through them all. Man, imagine if you actually finished a course off and did that. You'd actually learn a hell of a lot more. And if you've done that, then you can reach out to us and see if any of our CEU courses or our more advanced courses can help you, but only after you've gone through the free training modules. If not, don't waste your time, and sure shit, don't waste our time, because if you can't even do the free training, you're not going to want to even come into the paid courses because they're on a whole different level. That's all I got for you guys. Appreciate you guys listening, and I will see you on the next one. Bye. Thanks so much for listening. If you want help on the path to being able to double your income, all while working 50% less and being taken seriously as a healthcare provider, I have some great resources for you. Number one, get access to our free training modules and introduction to my system, the Peak Method. Number two, subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Soft Tissue Revolution. Links to all of this can be found in the show notes. Lastly, if you like the show, please leave us a 5-star review and share it with others that you know it could help.